In order for me to explain how we go from this and this to this, we have to talk about what a pottery glaze is. I like to describe making a pottery glaze like making a cake. So like with a cake, you have your binder, your sweetener, and your leavening. There are different components that do different things in a pottery glaze. So here are the basic building blocks of a pottery glaze. The first component of your pottery glaze is your glass former, and in a recipe that'll typically be written as silica, quartz, or flint. The melting point of silica, though, is really high at 3,110 degrees Fahrenheit, which is higher than we fire even the most high fire pottery at. So we need something to bring that down. That second component that brings that temperature down is known as your flux. And in a recipe, you may see a flux as ferrofrit or a feldspar. So now that your glaze is melting at a lower temperature, we need something to make sure it sticks to the pot. And we call that alumina. And your alumina is usually a type of clay just in dry form, like Edgar plastic kaolin or ball clay. So after we have our base glaze, we're probably going to want to add some color. And your color can come from a number of sources, like oxides or mason stains. And depending on the kind of look you're going for, you may want that more or less opaque. So the next component is an opacifier. And opacifiers have been described to me like driving through a snowstorm. A few flakes in your windshield aren't going to block your vision, but the more that fall, the less you're going to be able to see. Essentially, that's what an opacifier does. And all of these components are mixed together with water. And if left long enough, your dry ingredients will eventually settle out to the bottom of your bucket. But depending on the makeup of the glaze, that may happen really fast, so the last component may be a suspender, which will typically be represented as bentonite. So now that we know what these ingredients do, in the next video I can talk about how to read a recipe.